And, so many of his teammates have joined us and said, hey, we should be here. We should be here. A week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago this coming Sunday, NFC Championship game in Philadelphia, and Brock Purdy, starting quarterback, San Francisco 49ers, got hurt. And it was the weirdest thing because I want you to take me through what happened, but I'm watching on TV, then I hop in the car to go somewhere, and then the whole time nobody seemed to know what was going on with you. What happened?
Yeah, so had a play-action pass, came around, went to throw it to Brandon Ayuk. As my arm's coming through, Hassan Riddick just went for the ball, had my arm extend backwards as I'm throwing, and my UCL tore. And so, in that moment, my whole arm goes numb. Felt like I got a shot to my arm. And I go to the sideline. I'm like, hey, can you guys give me a ball while they're reviewing this play? I don't know if I could throw. And as I took a couple throws, the ball was just dying right. And I was like, I can't feel anything. And so, I told Shanahan that. And then obviously they got the ball from that play.
Well, wait, what did he say? When you tell him that, what did he say?
He's like, well, what do you mean? Can you throw a screen or something 5 yards away? And he said, can you throw an out route? And I was like, I can't. I know that for sure. And I'll go to the sideline and see what I can do from there. But as we went to the sideline and tried, taping my arm in certain directions and ways, and then I tried throwing, it was gone.
I think, and it's interesting because that play we've seen so many times, the tuck rule is close to it. We've seen kind of things close to it. It's amazing. Did you feel a pop?
I didn't feel a pop. I mean, it all happened so fast. It went back and extended, then my arm hit his helmet, and then just the whole thing went numb. And so I was like, I don't know what just happened, but it's not good. I knew it wasn't a stinger. And
it felt like, I don't know, before we knew it was your UCL, I don't know if you're not really old enough, but Colt McCoy in the national championship game, I don't know if you remember that. They were playing Alabama, and he got like something with his elbow where he just couldn't feel it. He couldn't, but it wasn't like a serious tear. It was basically like his funny bone just got hit so much that it was impacted on that. You going in at halftime, and what was going on in that locker room?
Yeah, they're doing all these tests and feeling it and all this stuff, and then they try putting cream on it with more tape, and then I get a ball and try throwing again, and I was like, man, this is the NFC Championship. I want to do everything it takes. If I got an AC joint or whatever, I'm playing through that. If my arm's numb a little bit, I'm throwing. But physically, I couldn't throw 10 yards, and that's when I was like, it's got to be, I got to make the best decision for my team, and it's not trying to be a superhero and go out there and not throw well. I can't even throw. And so that's when I said you got to put Josh in and have him be able to actually throw, go through reads, and handle our offense the right way.
He lasts 3 plays.
I know.
What is that feeling like when, you have an incredible team, and you'd been through so much just to get to that moment, and no one did anything wrong. It's just kind of freak of nature, but you can't be out there. You physically can't help do the thing that you are born on this earth to do and help the football team.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a helpless feeling, like, man, why is this happening? We go through all this stuff all year, and, everything's going well. Everyone's healthy, going into this game, and we're one win away from going to the big game, But in that moment, man, I just had to keep thanking God thanks for helping me get here. It's happening for a reason. I'm trusting in that. And I guess we're all going to learn from it and grow and be back next year.
Did you know it was the UCL before the MRI?
Yeah. Just growing up, playing baseball. My dad played baseball. We've always heard of the Tommy John and the ligament injury down near the elbow. And that was literally when they were pressing and feeling around. That's exactly the area. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. It's my UCL for sure. I didn't know if it was strained or torn or what, but I come back and get the MRI results and it was torn.
Okay, so what's the realistic prognosis? Like, you hear everybody going 6 months he'll be back, right? But we see baseball players, and they basically miss a year. Some a little bit shorter, some a little bit longer. What's the reasonable prognosis?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the kind of surgery that you get. If a lot of baseball guys get the graft, which is a reconstruction, a.k.a. Tommy John, where you get a ligament and you get it put in, that's usually around a year. And now there's a newer surgery where they put an internal brace in. They don't do the ligament, and they allow it to heal on its own with the internal brace, and that's a 6-month recovery. And so the doctors say, man, you got to go in, see what it looks like. After all the MRIs and results that we've done so far, they have a good idea. Like, man, we've seen this a million times. We're going to do the repair with the internal brace, that kind of thing. So that's where we're at with it, but you still just don't know until they go in for surgery.
This is the wildest year, has to be, right? Like, missed. And look, like your last year at Iowa State wasn't what you thought it would be. Like everybody just thought, oh, senior year he's going to kill. It was a little bit rougher than probably you thought. You end up going Mr. Relevant. I live in Orange County, so I know the celebration for Mr. Relevant with the golf and all the fun stuff you do. Okay, but the usual expectations are from there to, they got, they brought Jimmy back. Trey gets hurt. You're sitting there, and then you're starting corporate, and then you guys go on a run, and now everything changed. And then if somebody hasn't been around for a year, they went overseas, turned off their phone, they came back like, hey, man, what you been doing? How would you explain what's happened to you?
Man, just for myself in my life, man, I'm a faithful man. I trust in the Lord with what He does in my life, and so if you were to tell me I'm going to be a starting quarterback at some point during this year, I would have believed it. I would have been like, I got belief in what God's doing in my life, and I believe in the abilities He's blessed me with, and that was going to be true. And so, all my family and friends, we're all like supportive throughout this whole process, but it's been a wild ride. I'm just thankful how it all played out.
Have Kyle or John, have they told you, like it's your job when you come back?
We had some conversations, but the biggest thing for them is, man, you got to get healthy and see where we go from there. If I'm delayed with coming back or whatever, then obviously they have to do what's best for the team and have someone like Trey or someone ready.
1 minute.
But we haven't had any other serious conversations about it. It's going to come down to what happens and what it looks like post-surgery.
Really quickly, that defensive front is nasty. How hard is it going to be for Pat to operate with all that pressure?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great challenge. I think you can win a game or lose a game depending on what happens on the line, both defensively and offensively. So the Eagles have done a great job. You guys have seen the stats all year of, what they do to the quarterback and all the sacks that they have and stuff. So that'll probably be one of the biggest challenges. But Pat's the
30.
I got the job for you next year. Okay, next year you got until you're healthy, you got to carry the big speaker when Trent and those guys come walking out.
That's right.
That's got to be the new gig.
That's
of course, with the left arm,
yeah.
Not with the right arm. That's rehab. Brock Purdy, soon to be on a football field near you after surgery. Brock, thanks so much for joining us.
10.
What an incredible end to Super Week for us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's Brock Purdy. I'm Doug Gottlieb. This is Doug Gottlieb.